but I don't care. I fight anybody, and I fight all my entire life anybody.
There's too many world champions in the sport of boxing, and it's crazy.
I don't think he'll want to lose to Crawford, a much smaller guy, just because he's at the end of the road. But the fight's so big and the money's so big, he's going to have to take.
When asked about Mayweather training with Crawford, Canelo replied in a harsh way that he doesn't care who Crawford works with because he is confident in his own skills. He said that he has been fighting his whole life and is ready to fight anyone, no matter their height or training partner. If you like this, please subscribe Punch Vista and click the bell icon for more latest and interesting videos.
Which fight was more difficult between Mayweather or Bivol, and why?
I think both are similar. Just Bivol is bigger, so I think Bivol.
Eddie Hearn talked about how Canelo Alvarez is thinking about his upcoming fight with Terence Crawford. Hearn said that Canelo is determined not to lose to someone from a lighter class. Hearn said that Canelo isn't just fighting for the money. His pride is also on the line. The size difference between the two fighters may work in his favor, but Canelo isn't taking the fight lightly. He's pushing himself hard because he knows how bad it would be for his legacy to lose to a smaller opponent.
I don't think he'll want to lose to Crawford, a much smaller guy, just because he's at the end of the road. But the fight's so big and the money's so big, he's going to have to take it. I bet he retires after that fight.
No, really?
Yeah. Why would you carry on? Like, you fight Crawford. Who else is there for Canelo Alvarez to fight?
David Benavidez. Yeah,
but he's just not gonna. Like, the size of Benavidez. Now, is Benavidez going to come back to 68? I don't know. Like, again, the same thing. I don't think Canelo would want to lose to Benavidez because he's not the fighter he was. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of pride for those guys. So he's made a huge amount of money. I don't know. Look, maybe it was just fighting in Saudi, the negative opponent, all this kind of stuff. But I was sitting next to Bud for the whole fight, and I was thinking, I think you'll probably beat him. You know,
wow.
Don't get me wrong. It's a very tough fight for both. Great fight, but the movement of Terence Crawford and the ring IQ, and he looks like, in my opinion, the younger, fresher fighter, even though they're both, 36 and 38. It's amazing.
I know I don't have much time left with you, Eddie. I just wanted to just quick follow-up on that. When you were watching the fight with Bud, what was he telling you when he was watching it round by round by round?
Well, we had the fight very close.
Floyd Mayweather fully backs Terence Crawford and is helping him train for his upcoming fight with Canelo. Floyd seemed to really admire Crawford's hard work and attention to detail. He didn't think twice about calling him the best boxer in the world right now. The way they work together in training shows that they respect each other a lot, and Floyd thinks Crawford has what it takes to do something amazing against the bigger fighter. Mayweather's support for Crawford isn't just a friendly nod, it's a strong sign that he believes in her abilities.
Right now, in your opinion, who's the best fighter in the world?
We can put Tank up there in the top 10 in pound for pound. He has to be somewhere in pound for pound. And Canelo done something that is amazing when Canelo was able to go to light heavyweight and become light heavyweight champion, something that I didn't even see him going up that heavy, and he did that. So, but as of right now, I have to put Terence Crawford as number one.
Floyd didn't hold back when he talked about Canelo's skills. He played down how hard it would be to beat him, saying that Canelo isn't as complicated or unpredictable as other top fighters. Floyd's history with Canelo supports this claim, as he made it clear that he didn't find the Mexican star particularly hard to beat. His comments may seem harsh, but they show how confident he is in Crawford's chances in the upcoming fight.
It's really that they don't want. It's not that they don't want to see Tank win because they feel like it's beating me because I dominated the fight game for so long. But these same writers out here, they praise Canelo. He can pick and choose who he want to fight. And I'm gonna tell y'all the truth about Canelo. Motherfucker easy, man. Cakewalk, easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude. This dude was nothing. I was almost 40 years old when I cooked this dude. Easy. Canelo's a hell of a fighter. There's a lot of great Mexican fighters. That's not for me to rate fighters. I just take my hat off to so many fighters that paved the way, for me to be where I'm at, just, throughout life. Canelo's a hell of a fighter.
While Floyd has been vocal about Canelo, Theodore Crawford has been more polite when talking about Mayweather. He has made it clear that breaking Floyd's records or directly challenging him isn't part of his plan. Crawford respects what Mayweather has done and sees him as an icon of the sport. This shows that even though Crawford is ambitious, he stays grounded and shows respect for those who came before him.
Have you thought about going for 51-0, beat Mayweather's record with 50-0? Is that something that you thought about?
I already said I was never gonna beat Mayweather record. That's not something that I wanted to do.
Okay.
To be honest, I was gonna retire if I didn't get this Errol Spence fight.
But I know how you is. You be sizing niggas up, bro. Keep it a stack. Did you in your head size up Floyd? You know what I'm saying? If we was ever keep it real, boy, keep it real.
I'm never that type of guy. I think that's some grimy shit. Always been happy for him, been a fan of his, and I never imagined us fighting. Yeah. I never looked at him like, man, I know I'll beat this.
But you capping, bro. I never thought fantasy fight me versus Floyd.
Never. I never just was with a person and looked at him like, man, I'll beat his ass. Never. That's some hating type shit to me.
Like plotting.
I ain't never been that type of person ever.
A trainer, Stephen Edwards, weighed in on how Crawford might find success against Canelo. He pointed out that Crawford's high boxing IQ and ability to make adjustments during the later rounds are some of his best tools, according to Edwards, while Canelo may have size and power. Crawford's ability to stay sharp and read opponents as the fight progresses could be the deciding factor. The trainer praised Crawford's style as one that grows more effective over time, which might catch Canelo off guard if the fight goes the distance.
Explain how he adjusts to everything, but can just adjust to anything in the fight. He's a great fightter.
Do you feel like he's got any advantages early over Canelo?
Sure. Better stamina, better conditioning, better feet. I think obviously Canelo's the harder puncher, probably the stronger guy, but I think he has more dexterity, more agility. He's going to be better in the later rounds. He's a little taller, his arms are longer. I think he got a lot of advantages.
Do you see any point in the fight where Crawford not being able to hurt Canelo just gets walked down? That's been the consensus overall before Canelo's last fight. A lot of people saying that Crawford may be able to do something early, but there's going to be a point where he gets hit, gets hurt.
I disagree with that. I think Crawford's going to be the stronger fighter in the later rounds. I think the early part of the fight is where he got to be careful at. I think the early part of the fight, he could get clipped if he's not careful. But I think the later rounds, I think he functions better in the later rounds than Canelo does.
A great fight. Anything you're looking forward to that you want to talk about?
Karan Davis has a great fight versus Yoeli Hernandez on the same card that Caleb fights. That's probably going to be fight of the night. It's going to be a great fight.
He retired briefly. Real quick. Chiron did. I remember wishing him
That was a April Fool's thing. You guys felt
he got me on the April Fool's. Chiron, you dirty for that, my boy.
Yeah, he got y'all with that.
Veteran promoter Bob Arum had mixed feelings about the matchup. While he acknowledged that a bout between these two elite fighters would be a spectacle, he expressed concern over Canelo's recent performances. Arum questioned whether Canelo was genuinely fighting for the sport or merely chasing financial gain. He noted that fans haven't seen the same level of energy or entertainment from Canelo over the past 2 years. To Arum, it feels like Crawford is stepping into this bout with something to prove, while Canelo may simply be along for the payday.
Crawford next.
I just think he's getting a little older, and he just like, man, I'm not going to chase this guy around the ring like that. The guy's skull fought awful, man. That was a horrible performance. You know what I mean? I know some of it's on Canelo too, but
he said he thought he won.
Yeah, I mean, what is he supposed to say? I don't ever want to see a guy like that fight again, man. I like boxers, but that was bad.
And talk to us about the thin line between running and actual ring generalship. Where do you draw the line as a coach?
Ring generalship in boxing is a guy that's trying to apply his offense and score points and win the fight. A guy that's running is just simply trying to run the clock out That's why he's called running. He's running the clock out just so he can get a decision and get a moral victory. He has no interest in scoring points and winning the fight. His only interest is not taking any punishment and not being hit at all. So he's willing to sacrifice all of his offense to win the fight just so he can say he didn't get knocked out. So what Shakur and Devin do, that's not running. That's boxing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It may not be crowd friendly, but they're boxing. They're landing punches. They're hitting you more than you're hitting them. They're applying point scoring while they're just not taking a lot of punches. What William Skull was doing, he was running around the ring just like waiting for the rounds to end just so he can go 12 rounds and just say, you know, that was a little different.
Boxing journalist Dan Raphael focused on the broader impact of the fight for him. The matchup goes beyond pay-per-view numbers. It's about generating excitement and giving fans a fight that truly matters. Raphael thinks this kind of event helps the sport stay relevant and draws in casual viewers who might otherwise overlook boxing. He sees it as a net positive, a rare meeting of two skilled champions from different divisions, both bringing something unique to Thering.
I think Terence Crawford is a marvelous boxer, arguably the best in the world, pound for pound. But can you hurt Canelo? If you can't hurt him, I have no doubt he can outbox him. My issue is, if you can't hurt him, what kind of a challenge can you truly pose? What do you say to that?
No, that's a great point. I mean, here's the thing. Canelo Alvarez has a historically great chin. Now, I go way back when he first came to the United States and started boxing, and he found himself on an HBO pay-per-view undercard years and years ago, fighting against the older brother of the great Miguel Cotto. His name was Jose Miguel Cotto, and he had gotten a ton of hype. He had signed with Golden Boy Promotions, and a lot of those of us in the media. And I had seen him a couple of times before that. This is my first time seeing him in person, really paying close attention. And he almost got knocked out in the first round. And I remember Stephen A., all of us looking around at Media Row going, what the heck is this all hyped about? This man can't take a shot. He's going to get drilled. He was lucky that the fight was over, that the round was over in round one, or there might have been some much more trouble. Stephen A., that was 16, 17 years ago. I've never seen him wobbled, rocked, physically, visibly hurt since then. He has an all-time great chin going in the ring with tremendous punchers. Terence Crawford coming up 2 weight classes, do any damage. Yeah, he's a slick boxer, and he's also a good puncher in the welterweight division, in the junior welterweight division, in the lightweight division. But even at junior middleweight, which is where Terence Crawford had his most recent fight back in August, when he moved up and he won a world title, he didn't blow the doors off. He fought a very tough, solid opponent named Israel Madrimov. He gave him a good fight. It was very close. Madrimov's people seem to think he might have even been able to edge it out. But if you can't hurt an Israel Madrimov at 154, what the heck are you going to do with Canelo Alvarez, the sturdiest guy in the world, at 168? So that aspect of it is certainly a problem. You mentioned about Charlo. Charlo was there to get his check. I know one thing about Terence Crawford. He's not going to just come to turn up to get the check. He'll at least try. And Charlo, I don't think really.
Renowned expert Teddy Atlas spoke up in support of Crawford, especially as critics question his decision to move up and weight. Atlas explained that the jump in division doesn't diminish Crawford's potential. In fact, he believes that Crawford's footwork and ring IQ are more than enough to handle the transition. According to Atlas, the criticism is unwarranted. He sees Crawford's ambition not as overconfidence, but as a natural step for a fighter with his level of talent and hunger.
Come on, he's human. So he had a few hiccups. He won the fight. He's Terence Crawford. A lot of people say, "Oh, Teddy, you make him so good. You're always saying how great Crawford is." But who's he beating? He unified the what was his first division? Lightweight. Then he unified the junior. Then he unified the junior welter, then he unified the welter. I think I got the weight classes right. It doesn't matter. He unified 3 different weight classes. He moved up in weight. Guys are tired of me saying it. I look at him. Look, Canelo's special too. I get it. And he's bigger. I get that too. And everyone's going to say, well, after Madrimov fight again, had a couple hiccups. Now he's stepping up another weight class. Now he's got to fight Canelo, who's even bigger, stronger, better puncher. A unified champion that he's been. All of that stuff. He's not going to be able to handle it. I asked this question. See, I go to the other side. I say, okay, yeah, can Canelo handle the smaller guy who's going to be faster, who's going to be slicker, who's going to be better defensively, who's going to have better legs, who's going to be able to sometimes Canelo at this point in his career can slow down a little bit. They're both getting older. I get it.
Rather than making excuses or playing the underdog card. Crawford has met concerns about size and strength with a calm and focused mindset. He acknowledges the risks, but he doesn't dwell on them. Instead, he views this fight as a chance to show what he's really capable of. Crawford doesn't approach it as just a test of physical strength, but as a mental and technical challenge. He wants to leave no doubt that he can dominate even outside his natural weight class. Floyd also offered perspective by revisiting his own fight with Canelo. He remembered that he entered the ring at a lighter weight, yet he managed to control the bout with ease. That performance was a clear example of how strategy can neutralize brute force. His win was less about size and more about understanding timing, distance, and defense. Floyd's story serves as a reminder that ring intelligence can overpower physical disadvantages if used properly, drawing from his own history.
After Canelo made the weight, it wasn't like it was a certain clause to where he couldn't gain weight. So after he weighed 152 or 152 and a half, I think he came in like 168 or close to 170. And actually I came in at probably like I probably came in at 151 and 152.
Gotcha.
But Roy Jones is one hell of a fighter. You know, I can't get on here and hate on his skills and knock his skills. He's been through a lot in the sport of boxing, and he's done a lot for the sport of boxing. And I'm absolutely proud of Roy Jones.
This is a very mature Floyd Mayweather we're talking to 10 years ago. I know.
Yeah, that's why I'm quiet.
You mean 20 years ago?
Yeah, I know what would have been said.
I had a different set of questions.
Floyd had advice for Crawford that focused on planning and execution. He didn't tell him to avoid the fight instead. He encouraged strategic preparation. According to Floyd, success lies in sticking to a calculated game plan and keeping composure under pressure. He spoke as someone who's been there, stressing that the key to beating Canelo is not raw power, but outthinking him over 12 rounds.
Terence Crawford jumping up from 154 to 168 and beating this quote-unquote version of Canelo Alvarez would diminish the accomplishment that Floyd Mayweather accomplished beating his version of Canelo Alvarez. Is it two different versions of Canelo Alvarez? And obviously, Canelo Alvarez is 62 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 big wins by way of knockout. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He is obviously bigger. When Floyd fought him, it was at 152 catch weight, but it had no rehydration clause. So you might as well just say it was at 154. Now, two things they have in common is that Floyd Mayweather was 36, 37 years of age. Terence Crawford is 36, 37 years of age, going on 38. So he'll be 38 when he fights Canelo Alvarez. Floyd had already had 2 fights at 154. He had the fight with Miguel Cotto, and he had the fight with Oscar De La Hoya.
Crawford's coach, Brian Bullock McIntyre, took the chance to address those who had doubted Crawford's resume. He argued that many of Crawford's previous opponents were highly respected before they stepped into the ring with him, according to Bulmac. Crawford dismantled each of them cleanly and fairly, never relying on weight advantages or shady tactics. He underlined that Crawford's approach has always been about building a lasting reputation through clean, competitive fights, rather than shortcuts or easy paydays.
With Canelo Alvarez, it was interesting to see the comments from Canelo on how he sort of assessed Bud Crawford's career. I almost feel after the Spence fight that was like an exclamation point on everything he's done, maybe from the critics who never gave him credit, but it almost seems like Canelo was downplaying his achievements. What do you make of that? Is that to build a fight? Because it sells itself.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. I think Crawford rebuttal was
everybody always say, he hasn't fought nobody, or no, everybody that he fought was a no name. But I'm gonna tell you like this: what Crawford said. Well, they was something until Crawford fought him. So obviously he's doing a great job because he's making everybody look normal.
Not everyone, like when they go against Canelo, I don't think there's anyone else in boxing who you would ask and say, this is a possible task for, but for Crawford, because of his pound for pound abilities. And apparently no rehydration clause, am I hearing that right? He wants full smoke at that weight.
Let's go, man. That's what Crawford wants. He wants to show the world that he's the best. So, hey, why put stipulations in there when you know that you can be the best? So let's go test ourselves.
Look, I appreciate you taking this time. We don't get to speak all the time, so it's good to get you over here. And maybe we'll catch up later in Fight Week, but I appreciate you. Thank you.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next.